Hey there, buckle up because today we're diving into a topic that's close to all of our hearts. Well, at least mine. I'm talking about heroes, but not the kind you see in movies. We're talking about four-legged heroes, rescue dogs, in natural disasters, and we've got a ton of info on these courageous canines.
Yeah, it's really incredible what these dogs can do, and it all starts with that amazing sense of smell. I mean, did you know that their noses are thousands of times more sensitive than ours?
Thousands! That's not just sniffing out a dropped treat or something. What is it about their noses that makes them so powerful?
It's really how their olfactory system is structured. They have millions more scent receptors than humans, and the part of their brain that actually processes those smells, it's way bigger proportionally. So to them, the world is like this tapestry of scents. They can detect things that we can't even imagine.
Wow, so they're basically experiencing a whole other world through their noses that we don't have access to.
Exactly. And this heightened sense of smell isn't just for, finding their favorite chew toy.
Yeah.
This is what lets them pinpoint people trapped under rubble, sometimes buried up to 30 meters deep.
30 meters, that's the length of like 3 school buses. I'm trying to picture that. Imagine the chaos after an earthquake. No wonder these dogs are so valuable in search and rescue.
Absolutely. I mean, just to put it into perspective, one search and rescue dog can be as effective as 20 or more human rescuers.
Wow, that's remarkable. Okay, so we know these dogs have superpowered noses, but it's got to be more than just raw talent, right? I'm guessing training plays a huge role in how they use those noses to save lives.
Oh, absolutely. It's a combination of those natural abilities and some really rigorous training. They go through these intensive programs to learn how to distinguish between the sense of, living people and deceased people, all while navigating environments that are super dangerous and unpredictable.
Wow, that's incredible. I can't even imagine. What does that even look like? How do you even begin to train a dog to do that?
Well, it often starts when they're really young. Trainers are looking for certain traits early on: high energy, a willingness to focus, an eagerness to please. These are things that are going to lay the foundation for the kind of demanding work they're going to be doing.
So it's not just any dog who likes to play fetch. You're really trying to find those diamonds in the rough. But once you've identified a dog with that potential, what kind of specialized training actually goes into making them an expert rescuer?
Well, one fascinating thing is that it starts out really simple. It's all about play. Trainers leverage the dog's natural drive to chase and to retrieve by associating toys with human scent.
So they're basically playing a giant game of hide and seek, except the stakes are a lot higher.
Exactly. And as they progress, that game gets a lot more complex. They learn to navigate obstacle courses, ignore distractions like loud noises or other animals, and then the most important thing is learning to alert their handler when they've located a human scent.
It's amazing how something so simple to the dog can translate into a life-saving skill.
It really speaks to their intelligence and their adaptability, but finding the person, that's only one part of it. These dogs also need incredible stamina and mental toughness to be effective in a disaster zone.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not exactly a walk in the park. We're talking about, collapsed buildings, aftershocks, all kinds of hazards. What allows them to stay so focused and effective in those situations?
That's where psychological conditioning comes in, and that's something that often gets overlooked. But it's super important. We're talking about building resilience, emotional stability in the face of extreme pressure.
Psychological conditioning. That sounds intense. Can you break that down a little bit? How do you train a dog to be mentally tough?
Well, it's all about building these positive associations and kind of desensitizing them to stressful stimuli. Like they might gradually introduce loud noises during training or unfamiliar environments, but always pairing those experiences with rewards and praise.
Oh, so you're taking something that could be scary and making it into something positive and fun for the dog.
Exactly. It's all about building their confidence and teaching them to stay calm and focused, even when things around them are totally chaotic. And then, of course, there's the bond between the dog and the handler.
Right. Because it's not like these dogs are just going on solo missions. They have their human partners right there with them.
Yeah.
What role does that relationship play in their ability to perform under that kind of pressure?
Oh, it's absolutely essential. I mean, the handler is providing constant reassurance and support, reading the dog's body language, offering encouragement throughout the whole search. That deep trust and understanding, that's what allows the dog to stay focused and motivated in these really high-stakes situations.
It's a true partnership. And speaking of partnerships, you got to tell me about some of these real-life heroes. I've heard stories about rescue dogs who've done some pretty amazing things.
Oh, yeah. I've got a whole treasure trove of stories. Let's talk about Max. He was a Belgian Shepherd who became a legend after that horrible earthquake in Nepal back in 2015.
Oh, yeah. I vaguely remember hearing about that. Didn't he pull off some incredible rescues?
Oh, he did. He worked tirelessly just searching through the rubble for survivors. And get this, he actually located 3 people who had been trapped for over 72 hours with no outside help.
72 hours. I can't even imagine what allows a dog to be effective for that long in that kind of environment.
Well, it goes back to that rigorous training we were talking about. His ability to remain focused, even after days of searching, it just speaks volumes about his dedication and the strength of the bond with his handler. They were a true team working together to really make the impossible possible.
Wow, that's incredible. It's giving me chills just thinking about it. And it reminds me of another legendary rescue dog, Frida. I mean, come on, a dog with goggles and a vest, that's iconic.
Frida's one of a kind. Yeah, she's a Labrador retriever, and she really captured the hearts of people around the world, but especially after that 2017 earthquake in Mexico City.
Yes. I remember seeing the photos of her going through the wreckage. It was like she was a superhero. Mm-hmm. But she wasn't just there for show, was she? She was the real deal.
Oh, absolutely. She had this incredible combination of skill, experience, and just this unwavering courage. I mean, over her career, she saved 12 lives and helped to recover the bodies of over 40 people.
Wow, that's really remarkable. When I hear these stories, it makes me wonder, is it always specific breeds that excel at this kind of work? I mean, we always hear about German Shepherds and Labs, but what about other dogs?
You're right. Those breeds are often chosen because of their intelligence, trainability, and just their physical attributes. Yeah. But it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. I mean, while certain breeds might be predisposed to certain traits, temperament is really key.
So it's more about personality than pedigree.
Exactly. The ideal search and rescue dog needs unwavering courage, high energy level, and the ability to focus even when there are distractions. They need to be eager to please, and most importantly, they need to have a really strong work drive, even when they're facing danger.
Wow. It's almost like they're hardwired for this kind of work. Mm-hmm. But even with those natural instincts, I imagine the training process is incredibly demanding, not just for the dog, but for the handler as well.
Oh, it's a huge commitment. These dogs are essentially elite athletes. I mean, they train rigorously, they're honing their skills, they're building the physical and mental stamina that's required for this kind of demanding work.
It's no wonder they're considered heroes. They put their lives on the line to save others, but I imagine there's got to be some emotional challenges to this kind of work too, right? I mean, it's got to be emotionally taxing, not just for the dogs, but for the handlers too, right? I mean, they're seeing the devastation these disasters cause firsthand.
Oh, absolutely. It takes a special kind of person to do this work. And the handlers, they form such strong bonds with their dogs. It's incredibly rewarding, but it also makes it that much harder when you're faced with, you know, the realities of a disaster zone.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that these dogs aren't, you know, machines just following commands. They're putting their hearts and souls into this alongside their human partners. Mm-hmm. And that brings us back to this idea of the connection between humans and animals. Mm-hmm. What is it about this partnership in search and rescue that you find most interesting?
You know what gets me is that it goes beyond just training. It's like these two species with totally different strengths and senses coming together and forming this incredible bond based on trust and respect and, you know, just understanding. The dogs rely on their handlers for guidance and support, and the handlers learn to read the dog's body language. You know, every bark, every little movement, they become so in tune with each other.
Wow. It's like they develop their own language almost.
Okay.
Like they're communicating on a whole other level. And it's that connection that allows them to achieve these amazing things.
Exactly. These dogs are heroes, there's no doubt about it. But it's the power of that partnership, that fusion of human ingenuity and animal instinct that really makes it all possible.
You know, it really makes you think about dogs differently. They're not just our pets. They're capable of so much more.
Absolutely. Their loyalty, their courage, their dedication, it's truly inspiring. Yeah. And you know, the lessons we can learn from these four-legged heroes, they go way beyond search and rescue. They teach us about the power of partnership, the importance of resilience, and what we can achieve when we work together towards a common goal.
It's a good reminder that we can accomplish incredible things when we embrace our differences and support one another. So the next time you see a dog, remember there's a lot more to them than meets the eye. Behind that wet nose and wagging tail, there's this incredible capacity for intelligence and loyalty and heroism that could really move mountains, or in this case, maybe even rubble. What will you take away from their stories?